The day I took him to where I grew up in my head was the day that changed everything. My ex and I took night bus from Kano to go and see my mom all the way in Port Harcourt, and I wasn't even ashamed of where I came from because I've never been ashamed. I will always carry everybody I know. If you cared, I will take you to the waterside where I grew up, so I took him there. In the course of our relationship, I told this man about how I grew up, but I don't think he understood the depth of how I grew up. When we got there, he was shocked. He was looking at everywhere. Unfortunately for me, that day the water had overflown from the river and everywhere was messy. There was mud, there was dirt, there were poop all over the place, and somehow we walked through all that to my mother's one room. As we entered her room, she was fetching water with a bowl out of the room, and he was looking at me like this. As she saw us, she was shocked because my mom had not seen me in 8 years before that time. Because me, I said I will never see her again after all she had put me through. I went on that trip because he and his mother had convinced me that my mother was my mother regardless of what she had done to me. The first thing she said to me was, "Metubo," meaning, who is this? And even though outwardly I maintained my composure, inside I was broken because my mother was sleeping on the bare cement floor and her roof was leaking, and water that overflew from the river actually entered her room, and she was fetching the water out of her room when we arrived. So when she asked me, "Where is it from?" and I said Mboko, she said Mboko Nabo. I knew that I was going to have issues with her, but in my mind I'm like, this woman, if you know that this man is the one that brought me here, you will not even question where he's from. And even though my mother had not seen me in 8 years, she did not focus on me. She focused on him and his tribe. She kept asking me, "Why is he here? What does he want?" And I said, "I don't know." She said, "If you don't know, why did you bring him to my house?" But then I saw how he spoke with her. He was gentle, he was kind, he was really, really calm, regardless of the tension he could feel between the two of us. And that tugged at my heart, and I said to myself, this is a very good man. When we left, he asked me again, "Is this where you grew up?" I said yes. He was like, "You know what? You need to be praising God every single day because look at the amount of English that is coming out of your mouth." I used to pride myself in being able to read people, but that man, I couldn't read him because immediately we left my mother's house, he said we should go and look for an agent that would look for a new place for my mother. And so I thought this man is a very good man. But I don't know that same day changed how he saw me forever, because when I talk about anything and I complain about something in my life, he would tell me, "You should be grateful. You should not even be complaining because look at where you're coming from." He kept referring to my past, not who I was in front of him. And even though he went on to marry me, regardless of how he felt at that time, it wasn't because he respected me or my journey. It was because of his own selfish reasons. He didn't want people to look at him as a bad man, because in the last days he told me I would have said men are scum if he had left me at that point. Why would he have left me? Because I had a big blowout with my mother over his tribe. She said I couldn't marry somebody from his tribe, and I said, to hell, you have no right to tell me that, because where have you been my entire life? And his best friend of 20 years asked him not to marry me. Everybody in his family said he should not marry me. If I was fighting for him and his tribe and my mother was extremely rich, would I have asked him not to marry me? Nope. A poor man's child is not supposed to have any form of confidence or a voice. In the end, I realized that day he already decided I did not have any